Do you want to win an Xbox One? Enter our 100,000 subscriber giveaway. All you have to do is like the video, subscribe, and leave a comment. Khabib Nurmagomedov is one of the most popular fighters in the sport of mixed martial arts today. A global superstar in every sense of the word, fans of MMA have watched as the Eagle's stock has continued to grow and grow as a result of the stellar performance that he shows inside of the octagon. Seen by many as the more humble and modest alternative to his fierce rival Conor McGregor, Khabib has built his reputation on a foundation of both his devastating skill set and his reserved but powerful presence as a person. However, not everyone is a big fan of the reigning UFC lightweight champion. With that in mind, we're going to take a look at 10 different reasons why some of Nurmagomedov's fellow fighters have taken issues with him over the years. This is why UFC fighters hate Khabib. Number 10. His smothering style. MMA as an art form compromises of many possible routes to victory. Whether you're a slick striker or a grinding wrestler, the sport acts as a platform for us to single out the most effective approach to one-on-one combat. Khabib is without a doubt one of the most dominant fighters who has ever made that walk to the octagon. A smothering presence like no other, he mauls fighters to such an extent that the bout's competitive nature often gets sapped as soon as Nurmagomedov establishes control.
That's exactly what he's doing. He's turning the corner, he's going to get it right here. This should be it. Michael should tap or he's going to break his arm. He's going to break his arm.
Most are fine with that, but in the past, several fighters have openly criticized Khabib's style, telling him that it isn't true fighting. Conor McGregor was one of the leading in this attack, openly slating Khabib's approach, particularly in the first round of the UFC 229 clash back in 2018.
There it is. Nope, it's on the chin. There's the tap. Still undisputed. Khabib.
Number 9. His ties to Ramzan Kadyrov. Khabib may be a humble and righteous figure, but his ties to the Chechen leader Ramzan Kadyrov have been a major black spot in his public persona. Kadyrov is one of the most controversial figures in the world today, known for a number of crimes that relate to human rights in his homeland of Chechnya.
Они шайтаны, они поддажные, они не люди, будьте они прокляты за то, что они на нас наговаривают.
As a huge fan of mixed martial arts, Kadyrov has hosted the UFC lightweight champion on several occasions in the past. Though not necessarily seen as an endorsement per se, Khabib's relationship with the divisive leader has been a constant source of criticism for him.
После боя одеть не получилось.
Ну после боя там
Меня же забрали.
Number 8. Paying a homeless man to do push-ups. Nurmagomedov managed to find himself at the center of some unwanted attention when a viral video emerged showing him and his friends ridiculing a homeless man. Laughing hysterically as his gym mate paid the man to do push-ups, as you would expect, the video attracted quite a lot of controversy for Khabib and his team. Several of the Eagle's greatest rivals openly condemned the champ for what they called an undeniable case of bullying and cruelty, although Nurmagomedov himself never commented publicly on the issue. Number 7. His public persona. A lot of fighters seem to take the issue with some of the contradictions that have sprung up in Khabib's public persona. Though he portrays himself as a good, honest, and humble man, several controversies that we will continue to list here do appear to call that into question, at least some extent. Many have chosen to brand Khabib as fake, which may seem harsh given that he seems like a pretty good guy, but all in all, his squeaky clean persona does seem to be a tad bit too good to be true, according to some of his rivals.
Doesn't matter what happened with you, what's like, you always have to pray, you always have to stay humble and stay focused and stay connected with God. This is very important for us.
Number 6. His ties to Vladimir Putin. This one isn't as clear-cut as some of the others. Though he lives and fight out of both San Jose, California and Dagestan, there has been some issues taken with Khabib's relationship with the controversial Russian president Vladimir Putin. Now, of course, we understand that an invite from the president of your home country is not something that should be taken lightly, no matter what the circumstances, but even still, his proximity to a figure who was as problematic to Americans as Putin has been was never going to be fully accepted among his fellow UFC athletes.
Я тебя поздравляю, Khabib. Очень хороший поединок, красивый, честный и красивый. Такая эффектная победа.
Number 5. His role in the UFC 229 brawl. It's easy to forget that Khabib single-handedly caused the most controversial moment in UFC history on a night that stood as the most watched event in the company's history.
Oh, and now Khabib jumps the fence. Whoa! No! And he's going right at Dylan Dennis. Mayhem!
Indeed, Conor McGregor had poked at the champion until he had reached his breaking point, but even still, Khabib well and truly lost control of himself in a moment that called for him to do better and be a better ambassador for the sport than his rival had been in the weeks that preceded it. Thankfully, no one was really hurt during the brawl, and now the clips of him scaling the octagon to attack SBG's Dylan Danis are a little bit of a commonplace in the UFC promos, our Khabib-related material. Though he was furious on the night itself, we have no doubt that Dana White was secretly delighted with all the headlines this insane post-fight brawl generated.
Total chaos here. It looks like UFC security has corralled Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Number 4, a pull-out merchant. Though certainly far more consistent these days, there was a time when Khabib was seen as something of an unreliable booking, training with the type of intense regime that can only be compared to his aka teammate Cain Velasquez. Like the former heavyweight champion before him, that workload seemed to be doing more damage than good to his body for a period of time. Sidelined during his initial rise due to a string of recurring injuries, when Khabib finally did figure out the balance, thankfully he managed to improve on this problem considerably as he moved closer to the lightweight title. We didn't get Khabib versus Ferguson in the end, but at least now you can more confidently count on the Dagestan native making it to the fight himself. Number 3, his ties to Ali Abdelaziz. Ali Abdelaziz rubs a lot of people up the wrong way, and there's no other way to put it. As something of a super agent within the sport at the helm of Dominance MMA, Abdelaziz, more often than not, acts like something more akin to a promoter than anything else. Working alongside some of the most popular fighters in the game, it's his relationship with Khabib that seems to be the strongest of all.
Shut your mouth, Ali Abdelaziz, mad Ali. Snitch. Ali. I know a lot about you as well, you mad rat. I know a lot about you as well.
Without getting into it too much, Ali has something of a shady history, both in terms of his life outside of MMA and during his time as the executive vice president of the now defunct World Series of Fighting, a role that many believe forms something of a conflict of interest given the number of Dominance MMA-aligned fighters under that promotional banner. All in all, his clients adore him, and to his credit, he is a master at what he does, but a closer look into his enigmatic figure will show that everything is not always exactly what it seems.
Yeah, I ask him, please hold for me. He is like, oh, brother, calm down, please. He said, don't smash me on camera. He said, don't. No, I don't say that.
Number 2, his pre-UFC record. This one is sure to ruffle a few feathers, but Khabib's pre-UFC record is incredibly padded. People love that clean 28-0 resume, but when you take on a pro debutant as a 14-0 athlete, something is undoubtedly a bit fishy. Upon closer inspection, you'll find that 6 of his 16 opponents before making his UFC debut were fighting their first professional bout against Khabib. On top of that, Khabib only actually fought 6 fighters with winning records in his first 16 fights, meaning that 10 of his first 16 opponents did not have more wins than losses. Sure, he's an incredible talent, but that realism may put his pursuit of his 30-0 into a bit more perspective. Number 1. Cornering Artem Lobov. Artem Lobov holds something of an odd position within the world of mixed martial arts, revered with a certain meme-like adoration due to his somewhat undeserving place at the pinnacle of the sport. The Russian Hammer is now the subject of a hilarious brand of fame. Known as the GOAT and widely appreciated for his gutsy and determined fighting style, Lobov has formed great success in the blossoming bare-knuckle boxing promotion BKFC. Though undoubtedly benefiting from his close ties to the biggest star in the game, Conor McGregor, Artem has somehow managed to find a space of his own to occupy. Khabib in many ways drew first blood when it came to his ongoing feud with Team McGregor, when he and a posse of his gym mates cornered Lobov in a corner to coax an explanation out of him relating to the comments that he had made in the media about the Eagle.
Artem and Khabib.
The incident was videoed and after went viral. As you would expect, a furious McGregor quickly made moves to retaliate, leading to the now infamous bus attack during the UFC 223 media day. Things proceeded to get ugly on both sides, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Khabib's gonna make it happen right here. He ain't playing.
Do you think Khabib will be able to move to a perfect 29-0 by defeating arguably the greatest test of his career to date in Justin Gaethje to retain his lightweight crown in the UFC 254 main event? Be sure to let us know in the comments down below before subscribing to the main channel to stay up to date with all of our latest uploads. And as always, thanks for watching.